Thank you, Michelle. Welcome all. Thank you very much for coming to our talk, and welcome to those online as well. Thank you. My name is Nick Fisher. I'm a lecturer in medical education at Queen Mary University, University of London. And my colleague.
I'm Maryam, Malekigorji. I'm senior lecturer. We both work as team-based learning lead.
The aim of 20 minutes, so we're going to share the presentation. The aim of the presentation today is to explore the impact of the introduction of a digital platform on student engagement in small group learning. So we're going to talk about student perceptions of TBL, of the platform. We're going to talk about student engagement, and we're going to talk about the impact on faculty as well. Yes, it's working. So just a bit of context for you. Both Maryam and myself work in this building, which is the Garrett building in Whitechapel. It is the where the Institute of Health Sciences Education is based. So we both work primarily on the undergraduate degree in medicine. We also do work with a graduate entry medical program as well. So in terms of today, we're going to cover three main areas for you. First is what is team-based learning, or TBL, and why have we introduced it? The second area is, Maryam's going to take us through, is what has been the impact on student engagement and the perception of TBL. And also the final piece is going to be what lessons have we learned. So we're going to focus mainly on engagement. Well-being is the theme. I would say that COVID has been very flexible in allowing us to present this morning, for which we're very grateful. But we were supposed to be yesterday, so just to give you a bit of context around that. So I don't know who here has heard of or experienced team-based learning in any way. See a few nods. So that's something we're introducing into the medical school right now. We're doing it now 2 years. So essentially, it is, and this picture here shows a TBL space. And this is not ours, unfortunately. But we'd love if we had this space. But this is in Singapore at the LKC Medical School. They kind of pioneered TBL over in Singapore. So it's a structured form of small group learning. So you could have a room full of 100 students with individual groups. Okay, and those groups work in their groups and also in the whole room as well. It takes a flipped class model, so there's pre-learning, so the students, before they come to the actual TBL session, do some pre-learning, which we deliver via our VLE. And then when it comes to the actual session itself, it's much more practical, much more hands-on. There's an initial assessment, and then we have a series of practical exercises, which we'll come on to in a minute. So, message here, shall I enable this? Let's click on it. Yeah. Okay, so it's very collaborative. So you'll have a group of, say, 100 students or 90 students, and you'll have a facilitator, a member of staff, and a content expert who's the expert in that particular field. So there's always a lot of noise, and it's a lot of fun. And we, as I said, with us for 2 years. It can also work well online. We've not tried, I don't believe we've tried it online yet, but it can be done online. So that's something we put in our back pocket, maybe. Yeah, that's what TBL is. Batteries already. Okay. So TBL. So the TBL, as I said, there's two main phases. There's the pre-class phase, which is the preparation, which is where the students work on their own on the content that we give them on the VLE. So they will study, it could be anything. It could be videos, it could be journals, it could be anything that we choose to engage them. And the purpose of that is so when they come to the session, they reach a level of knowledge, which we use in class. So we do an initial test called the IRAT, which is the first purple box. But it's a closed book assessment where they work online using the platform, which I'll come on to in a minute. And then the next phase is they work in their teams on the same assessment to answer the question. So it's the same SBAs, they get immediate feedback. And then we have the class discussion, which is where the facilitator works with the students to pull out any sort of burning questions that we have from the assessment. That's very interactive, and we use that to facilitate that. We use the platform, which I'll come on to again in a minute. And then the final phase is where the real action happens, which is the team application exercise, where they work together on the same scenario. And then we then share the output from those exercises as a group. So in terms of the online platform, the platform that we've introduced is called LAMS, and it actually facilitates all of those stages in the TBL that you can see there. So students log in, they can do the assessment online, they can pose the burning questions online, they can do the team application exercises online, as in the group, but put their answers online, so the other groups in the room can see what the output of their team exercises are. And also for us as staff, it's amazing because we can actually then see in real time what the students are doing, and then we can focus our interactions with them based on their activity in the classroom. So if they find one question in their IRAT particularly difficult, we can focus on that question, and the one they're doing very well on, we just move on to the next one. Very, very useful. Why are we doing it? Well, we as an institution, we've been running problem-based learning, PBL, for around 30 years. With a large group of tutors. We have about over 100 tutors. So logistically, it's very difficult. Quality-wise, it's also quite difficult because it's very hard when you've got 40 current sessions to actually measure the quality of those PBLs, and it does vary. The TBL offers a lot, in our opinion, offers a lot more in terms of consistency in the learning experience. We can also, it's highly scalable, so we can run, we've been running 6 TBL sessions in a day, 3 concurrently in the morning and 3 in the afternoon, so we can get it through a whole year cohort, which is about 350 students in one day. 6 to 12 members of staff, which is a lot less than PBL. We can also align TBL with our assessment strategy. So if we want to do programmatic assessment, for example, the output of the IRATs in TBL can form one of the data points for programmatic assessment. So we think it offers a lot of advantages. In terms of the journey we've taken in terms of the technology, we started off by using scratch cards, which students actually love. So they use the scratch cards when working in their teams to work through the questions and reveal the correct answer. So if you get it right first time in your group, you get 4 points. And then if you get second time right, it's 3 points, and so on. So the students actually love that. But the flip side is it doesn't give us a lot of information in terms of what they're doing. So we have no real visibility in terms of what they're doing. So Maryam's just having one out now. Please feel free to do that. Then we moved from scratch cards onto Microsoft Forms, which we used for the IRATs. And then we used the scratch cards in conjunction with this. But again, we had very little sort of feedback for us as staff. We then moved on to LAMS. So LAMS is the platform we're talking about today. I mean, Maryam will come and talk about it a bit more, but LAMS essentially offers the view of the team exercise. So each team on the left-hand column, C1 to C11, these are their answers in the assessment. So we can see that, and also they can too. So we project this on the board, the screen, so the students in the room can see how they're doing. We actually hide the totals, so they don't like seeing that. But they're quite happy to see how the other teams are doing, and we use that to focus the questions. So I'm going to hand over to Maryam now, who's going to take you through the rest.
Yeah. So we had last year the TBL session, as Nick mentioned, with scratch card, and I just distributed it. And this year with LAMS. So we wanted to see if the students have different perception in terms of engagement, the time they spent to prepare themselves ahead of the session, the learning effectiveness of the session, as well as the collaboration and discussion opportunity for the student. So we gave them a survey at the end of the session with LAMS or with the scratch card, and then we had Likert scale question, and we statistically analyzed the student responses. So we found that engagement was the only element that was significantly scored higher in LAMS compared to the scratch card. And we think that's mainly due to the platform itself, because that provides engagement features, so students would be able to set their confidence level. The student would be able to raise burning questions as a team. And we could also see their engagement with the platform as well. They could track their progress. They could receive feedback from other teams as well as the instructors. And also the duration of the engagement with LAMP was much longer, because for the scratch card is just during the activity, but with LAMP they can always go back and see their progression, and also there's an opportunity for them to write reflection at the end of each session, so they can go back and study their reflection as well. LAMPs also provide opportunity to personalize learning and adapt flexibility in learning in line with universal design for learning, and provides opportunity for us to support the student with learning differences as well. So for example, if the student requires extra time for activities, we can just give them extra time without any other student noticing it. So in terms of the time a student spent ahead of the session to prepare themselves, interestingly, the one with LAMPs, we had more answers from the students saying they spent too long preparing themselves. And we think that's mainly due to the fact that we had LAMPs training material as well as the session material combined together, and that overburdened few students. So we try actually to make sure next year, over the induction, we train a student for the software, and then for the actual session, they only have the related material for the TDL session. In terms of the learning effectiveness and collaboration and discussion, there wasn't any significant difference across the two platforms. And we agree, I think both have their own perks. We still use scratch cards. If we have a small number of students, we use a scratch card. If that's only one-off incident, like in year 3, year 4, we do not do TVL every other session. So we do not require to spend a lot of money for subscription for those students. We just go low-tech for, using the team activity. And, the student also benefit from the scratch card as well. There is not significant difference in terms of the learning, collaboration, and discussion as highlighted in the result as well. At the end of the survey, we also had a student to give us information about what they liked most and any suggestion for improvement. So within the scratch card session, the student really liked the interaction and engaging, especially when we actually did the survey. That was the very first time they saw the scratch card, and then when they scratched off the answer by the leader and identified that they are selecting the correct answer for the first try, they were really, really enthusiastic, and you could see the buzz in the room when they did that, and also the frustration when they didn't get it right, and telling each other, I told you to choose the other one. So for LAMPs, a lot of the students mentioned about the digital convenience of the platform. Everything is streamlined in one platform. They didn't need to actually scan a lot of QR codes for registration, for IRAT, TRAT, and other activities, application exercises as well. And they benefited from instant feedback, both from the system and also their peers and the instructor as well. We also asked for suggestion, and for a scratch card, as you can see on the left-hand side, the word cloud, a lot of the students mentioned about improving sitting, which wasn't really mentioned in LAMP session. And we believe because the students were relying on the physical tiny scratch card altogether, it was really hard if they had actually a rectangular kind of desk to see what answer is being selected, if they got it right. So they were really telling us, please, can we have round table? Can we actually be closer to each other? Which wasn't really raised when we had LAMPs, because everyone had their own screen. Although they were sitting in the same team, same group, they weren't relying on a physical scratch card to engage. So that streamlined their engagement as well. And in terms of the time, both the session, some students please shorten the session. I think for the scratch card, we had a lot of papers and a scratch card distributed, and then we gathered them, and then we asked them to count their total score. So it took us time to actually do those extra activities. We didn't have it for LAMPs. However, with LAMPs, because we are trying a lot of new features of LAMPs, sometimes the activity that is given to the student is the very first time we try, and we have no idea in reality how much time it's going to take for us to do that activity. So hopefully in the future, we are going to be more efficient in terms of time management. And also, a student mentioned again in labs about the content overload, as I discussed, and more group discussion. We felt the same. So as soon as we changed from scratch card to LAMS, we saw that there is not enough discussion or the buzz in the room for the team discussion. And that was mainly due to the fact that they could see each other's answers. So they could identify that which answer was selected by the most students. So no discussion, we go for the one that actually selected by most students. They also had the confidence level of each other as well. So we were thinking to actually take it off, switch it off. But then we were just thinking, you're adult, they're adults, we need to discuss. So we intervened and went to the group and said, you know what? Yes, you selected your answer. Why not justifying the other answers? Why the other answers aren't incorrect? Can you give us, proper justification and submit it? So we try to intervene, and that improves the student engagement during the discussion as well. So we also had a lot of focus group with faculty, so they also appreciated the efficiency and information provided by LAMS. So they believe that LAMS reduce the administrative burden, and also giving us more time to do the creation of the material rather than admin tasks. For example, last year we had peer evaluation, and it took us a full week to do the analyze the answers and then send them back, disseminate to the students. So it was really, really time consuming. This year with LAMS, it's not going to it's not going to be very time consuming and very more efficient and streamlined. In terms of analytics, we have a good bank of data now. So LAMS give us data analytics. We can identify the knowledge gap really easily. And we can also identify students who are not progressing well, are not engaging, so we can provide further support. Also, the faculty appreciated the challenges, the technical challenges we may have with the LAMS, and as well as valuing the training. So we currently provide intensive training how to create materials on LAMS, as well as how to facilitate the LAMS session by this digital platform. And also, the faculty believe that we improve the assessment security because we are not relying on a student to give us the final score. They need to actually calculate it with the scratch card. We have everything on LAMS. And there's a time stamp for any single activity they do. If they copy and paste in a second, it's really obvious. So we can tell this that what you use ChatGPT instead of writing your own work. So it's really easy to monitor student engagement, and we believe that we improved assessment security here as well. In terms of cost, yes, LAMS does have associated costs. So it charges per student, so you need to pay for subscription every year. But in the long run, we think that's more very cost effective because we are less relying on the admin staff to do a lot of printing, creating, formatting, and also not buying the scratch card as well. They are not very cheap either. So we believe that we also improve the sustainability with LAMS as well. And finally, in terms of adaptability, LAMS provide online, as Nick mentioned, opportunities. So if there are circumstances that we have to go online, for example, if there is a tube strike, which is happening very often, we can just switch the session to online session without even thinking about rescheduling the session as well. So that's all I wanted to mention. Thank you very much for your time. Let us know if you are interested to know more about team-based learning and LAMS, and we are happy to take any question you might have. Thank you.